Good afternoon, everyone. So we have already discussed 40 bundle theoretical aspects in the morning session. So we won't be going into those details right now, but I will be discussing one practical aspects, pictorial representation of various 40 bundles. So I will be discussing one care bundles, insertion of catheter in male and female, and hygiene, maintenance of the catheter, what to do and what not to do, how to collect urinary sample, and summarize everything in the last. So these are the various care bundle to prevent clotting, insertion care bundle and maintenance care bundle, which I will be discussing important one in subsequent slides. We won't go in further details. So this is the Foley's catheter and bladder pictorial representation. So we can how catheter associated urinary tract infection occur, why it is risk of increasing infection with catheter in situ. Just before going to those details, just look at this part. This male urethra and female urethra. So male urethra is longer than female urethra. Female urethra is relatively shorter and straight. So there is more risk of infection with urinary catheter to female than in male. So we have to be more careful. And why infection risk is high with indwelling urine catheter? There are extraluminal and intraluminal factors. You can see this is extraluminal factors while insertion of catheter, or later on with capillary action of microbes. Here from capillary action of microbes, they can get ascending infection and then to bladder. You can see here. And there are intraluminal factors like bag and tubing. So any break in the break in the catheter tubing or collection bag, or contamination of catheter tubing or collection bag will lead to increased risk of catheter associated infection or colonization. So we have to be careful during insertion as well as maintenance as well as removal. All these parts are important of clotting bundle. So before proceeding to the insertion of catheter, we have to ask whether we really need the catheter. This is the first step of clotting bundle. If it is really necessary or we can avoid it, we can actually use bladder ultrasound and screen for the bladder if it is available at bedside. And many times we can avoid the catheterization if bladder is not full, patient is voiding completely, and we can avoid it. So insert catheter with appropriate indication only and remove it as early as possible. If it is really necessary, then gather your catheter insertion kit. This is the catheter insertion kit of my hospital. So every hospital has prepared, must have their own catheter insertion kit as per their policy, but practically it should contain all these following things, which I will be showing one by one. So this is the Foley's catheter tray, autoclave tray. Inside there would be sterile equipments, which I will be showing in subsequent slides. This is the plastic sheet for to place under the genitalia of the patient to prevent soakage of patient clothes and bed sheets. And another things in catheter insertion kit are these are disposable glues while to handle the positioning of the patient, maintain the urinary drainage bag while cleaning the genitalia. This is the Euro bag. Euro bag ideally should contain the sample collection part as well. So it would be closed system and we can collect the sample without disconnecting the entire system from catheter to the Euro bag. And this is the Foley's catheter. Choose appropriate size Foley's catheter. It is actually very important because smaller size catheter would lead to increase in the risk and larger size would lead to trauma. So appropriate size catheter should be used. And this is the sterile saline, which is required for washing the and cleaning of the private parts and genitalia. This is the one-time use sterile lidocaine jelly. It should not be reused and it should be used with no touch technique. This is the sterile syringe. It should be used. It could be used after insertion of catheter to inflate the bulb of the bladder. These are the sterile gloves, and sterile gloves must be worn during and before insertion of catheter, and if any breakage in the sterility in between, then it should be changed. And antiseptic solution, this is the betadine which we use in our hospital, and this is the adhesive tab or any ready-made catheter fixture which can be used after insertion of catheter to fix the catheter to the medial aspect of thigh. So in nutshell, all these things should be there in your catheter insertion kit. before you proceed. And this is the inside of the tray. This is how it looks, and these things it should be there inside. This is the whole sheet or wrap with the opening, sterile one. So after painting, after cleaning the genitalia, your penis in the male and your vagina in female should be uh, visible, and breast part should be covered, lower part of abdomen and thigh should be covered with this sheet. And these are the walls pad, and or you can use cotton swabs. This is the sterile bowl, and betadine should be poured into it. This is the tongue which or sponge holder which would be used to hold this cotton swabs or these bows and swab it then with betadine, and then painting of the private parts and urethra. So all these things are necessary. So you can see Foley's catheter is so simple procedure. Many untrained people would think that it is just 2 minutes work. Only one person can do that. Nothing is required. But actually, it's teamwork, and if we have to maintain sterility closed system, then it's not one person job. One has to assist, and one person who is doing the procedure. Both have to maintain sterility to maintain the closed system and prevent further potty. And it is not only one two-person job. For insertion, a two-person job, but for maintenance before insertion, during insertion, after insertion, it involves everyone: patient himself, housekeeping staff, nursing staff. So patient should be aware how he should be or she should be positioned, how they should keep their urinary bag during mobilization while wheelchair setting. Housekeeping staff must be knowing how to empty the drainage bag, how to position the drainage bag. Nursing staff should be knowing how to document when to change daily assess work, to change daily cleaning of the private part. So it's actually multi-tasking job. Multiple team members must be aware. Then only we can achieve our goal to minimize the potty rate. So before doing the procedure, we must know how to handle the expert recommended WHO all steps. So we're not going in detail of that, but at least 20 seconds do your hand washing as per all these recommended steps. For your palm, your dorsum, your fingertips, everything should be washed properly. So this is a nice picture summarizing all the steps of Foley's catheter insertion in male or female, and similar steps should be followed in all patients. So it's Foley's catheter insertion using surgical antiseptic non-touch technique, surgical ANTT. So non-touch technique is very important for all respect to maintain sterility and prevent potty rates. And while we are the doctor who is going to do the procedure is getting prepared, staff should prepare the patient, apply this sheet or waterproof pad and gown to the patient, and position the patient. So it should be done simultaneously. Now, first step is washing the hand with soap and water or alcoholic chlorhexidine. Then clean the trolley as per local policy. Then gather catheter equipment insertion kit. Then put your gown. Clean the hand if required, and then open the catheter insertion kit and gather your equipments. Then again, if not sterilized, again clean your hand. Then put on sterile gloves. Then prepare your equipment using non-touch technique. Gather everything. Then do painting with antiseptic solution, means expanding circular motion. Initially, you can just wash with saline water, and then you can apply antiseptic solution of betadine to clean genitalia in circular motion and clean urethral orifice. And then you have to insert lignocaine jelly in male and female both. In male specifically, while inserting lignocaine jelly, after that you have to pinch the penis to hold the lubricant for a few minutes to get it effects. And you have to hold penis in perpendicular way with your non-dominant hand, And with your dominant hand with no touch technique, you have to do all this procedure. And in between, if it gets contaminated, then you have to change the gloves. But don't switch hand like you are using your non-dominant hand first and then using your dominant hand first to hold the pens or any other procedure. Don't do like that. Don't switch your hands for different roles. After that, you can dispose gloves if whether it's non-sterile now, then clean hand again and put on sterile gloves. This is very important and underlooked part. If during lubricating your dominant hand get unsterile, then obviously change your gloves, but don't use that gloves, otherwise it will increase the risk of infection during insertion only. And then insert the catheter by non-touch technique by touching only the plastic wrapping and then remove after that as you expand the catheter, as you insert the catheter further. And insert the catheter beyond 3 to 5 centimeter further even after you get urine to avoid the damage to urethra by inflating the balloon in between the urethra. So it should be inserted at least 3 to 5 centimeter beyond after you get the urine. And then inflate the balloon with 10 to 30 cc as per manufacturer recommendation written on the catheter with non-touch technique. Then after inflating the balloon, you can just pull the catheter to check whether it's secured or not. And then you can attach the collection bag with non-touch technique. And then dispose your assistant or nursing staff to dispose the waste, and then you can dispose your gloves and apron. And then again clean your hands. And then in the contamination zone, just move away your trolley and clean the trolley. Just again clean your hands with hand rub and alcohol-based soap and water. So this is the basic idea how to do the procedure. I have not demonstrated whole video because watching we may miss certain steps. So rather than watching whole video, we can go step by step and evaluate whether we are doing correct practice or not. So a few minor details I will be discussing in subsequent slides. Apart from recommended steps of hand washing by WHO, this is the 5 moments for hand hygiene. So how to wash hand is different, but when to wash the hand. So while caring for patient with urinary catheter, immediately before and after handling a drainage bag or catheter or collecting sample, you have to wash your hand before and after. So before touching the patient, before any procedure, after a procedure or after body fluid exposure risk, after touching the patient, and then finally before leaving the patient after touching patient surrounding. So all these 5 moments for hand hygiene must be followed. So this is the theoretical aspect which we have already discussed step by step of preparing patient for catheter insertion, how to maintain hygiene, male patients and female patients, which we have already discussed. Main thing, always remember that accidentally, even if your hand or your catheter touch vagina or thigh or any other part which is not sterile, not cleaned during the procedure, then you have to change the catheter, you have to change your gloves, but don't use same catheter or same gloves if it touch non-sterile area. So this must be remembered. This is the most common mistakes everyone do. This is how after catheterization is over, you have secured your catheter by fixing the catheter to the medial aspect of the thigh. This is how drainage bag should be fixed. So while before going to drainage bag, while fixing the catheter is important, because if we don't fix the catheter, then there will be to and fro movement of catheter from inside the bladder, outside the bladder. So it will increase the risk of infection. So to avoid this movement and to prevent kinking of catheter and tubing, to maintain unobstructed urinary flow. So it will also decrease the risk of ascending infection. So this is simple tab, but there are catheter fixer and sophisticated other dressings also available to fix the catheter. But basically our aim is it should be fixed on the medial aspect of thigh to prevent to and fro movement and to prevent obstruction or kink. So these are the common mistakes which we underlooked during insertion of catheter. I already discussed that contaminated gloves and contaminated catheter, which we don't look. It should be thought and it should be changed. And always don't switch the hands during the procedure because your one hand which is holding the private part is definitely not sterile. So if you switch hand, then you have to change gloves again and again. So it may not be practical. How to care for the drainage bag, that is also very important. So the Eurobag position should be like this. So this is the patient, so this is the bladder level. So it is below the bladder, this is the floor, it is off the floor. So it should not touch the floor and it should work below the level of bladder. So this is when patient is lying down. So the same principle applies in whatever position the patient is. So patient is walking, patient is sitting, patient is taking bath, or patient is sitting on wheelchair. So it should not touch the floor and it should be below the level of bladder. So if some kind of leg pads and many other things are available which make patient comfortable and patient can walk very easily. So now this is how Eurobag should be positioned. Now another underlooked part is emptying the Eurobag because this is done by housekeeping staff and not everywhere housekeeping staff is trained. So we have to train them as well and it's continuity. So one will train another, another will train another. So it should be maintained in continuity. In every shift, it should be emptied at least every 8 hours or before that, even if it is less than preferred filled, then we have to empty. We should not wait for Eurobag to get filled completely. Otherwise, it will increase the risk of spillage. It would increase the risk of presenting infection or contamination. And never ever turn the Eurobag upside down, but use opening wall. This is opening wall, so you can read here. It is left side closed, right side open. So if you place it on the left side, then it would be closed. If you place it on the right side, it would be open and it would drain the urine. So use that, but don't turn that upside down. So apart from that, we have already discussed all these parts. Stabilize the catheter tubing, drainage bag, position of bag, when to, and it should be done by trained staff only. If not trained, then you have to train them. So here you can see this is also secured nicely on the medial aspect of thigh ventilator. So now we have inserted the catheter, we have secured the drainage bag, we know how to empty the Eurobag. Now another thing, how to collect the urine sample. This is also under part in many small hospitals and nursing homes. So these parts need to be emphasized and the staff should be educated for that. So Eurobag should be used which has urine collection pot, and it usually has one clamp also just distal to this urine collection pot. So whenever required to collect the sample of urine with no touch technique, first initially it should be cleaned with 70% alcohol or alcoholic swab, and then after 15 to 20 seconds we can take the sample with sterile syringe with non-touch technique and then pour it in urine container and it should be labeled properly. So here is the picture representation step by step. This is the sampling part. This is the clamp. So clamp the tubing so you can retain the urine for a while and then clean with alcoholic swab. Then with no touch technique, one hand is holding this, one hand is sterile which has not come in contact with any non-sterile part. So it is you are getting the sample then in urine container, so it is labeled. So this must be followed while collection of sample, and after collection also it should be cleaned with alcoholic swab. So there are certain do's and don'ts of maintenance of urinary catheter care. So what are those things which should be looked at apart from what we have discussed? So use periurethral care with soap and water. Antimicrobial solution is not required for routine maintenance and routine cleaning of genitalia or catheter care. And don't keep catheter pinned or obstructed. Fix it that way that it remain unobstructed. And closed system should be maintained. There should not be any breakage in the system. If it is there is break in the closed system, then just change it and clean it. And always check that Eurobag and Foley's catheter insertion, there is some sticker is applied so we can identify when it was changed or inserted. And on urine collection container also mention the patient name and date, so we can identify that this is for that particular patient. Like whenever emptying the urine into the any jug or urine pot, which is not sterile, obviously. So it should not come in contact with the urine. It should not come in contact with the any urine collection pot, and it should be fixed reserved for the particular patient. So it should be labeled. It should not be introduced for another patient, and it should be disinfected regularly after each use. So this part we have not discussed. It is very important. Urine collection pot should be reserved for particular patient and different patient, different pot, and it should be disinfected and it should not be in contact. It should not be in touch with urine bag. And don't what we should not do. So we should not change the catheter or drainage bag at fixed interval. It is not recommended. We should not administer routine antimicrobial prophylaxis. We should not use routine antiseptic to cleanse the peripheral area. Just soap and water is enough. And clean the peripheral area very gently, not vigorously. Otherwise, what will happen? You can just provoke your normal skin flora, and minor cracks will lead to entry of your colonizers. Don't irrigate the bladder with antimicrobial routinely. Don't instill the antiseptic in the drainage bag. Don't reuse the drainage bag. Even if at all you need to reuse the drainage bag, then there should be proper drainage bag which can be reused, and your local policies will be there for disinfection and uses. You have to frame your SOP for that. And don't routinely screen for asymptomatic bacteria. More days your catheter is there, more pustules you are going to get, but we don't need to treat that. And don't contaminate the catheter outlet while collection bag and things that we have already discussed. Last thing is bladder irrigation or flushing the bladder. Should we do it? So no, absolutely no. We should not flush the catheter or to irrigate the bladder unless it is therapeutically indicated. Routinely it should not be done whenever urine output is low or suspecting blockage of the tube. Many ICU or doctors are practicing this, but it is wrong. Rather, if you available, use the bladder ultrasound to identify, and if required, you can change the catheter. But what will happen if you flush it on and off? Then it will increase the handling of catheter, increase the risk of ascending infection. You are pushing the intraneal colonizers to inside the bladder, and it will increase the risk of cystitis and clotting. And clamping the catheter before removal of catheter routinely is also not recommended, because clamping the catheter will also obstruct your urinary flow and increase the risk of ascending infections. And it's not actually recommended in any patient. In selected patient with loss of long-term catheterized more than 1 month neurological patients may require it actually, but in that also I would not suggest. You can use just bladder ultrasound. You can remove Foley's directly, and then you can insert K90 with strong stick aseptic precaution as per bladder ultrasound if patient is not passing urine, and then you can reinsert the catheter if you need to do K90 catheterization more than twice after removal of the catheter. This is what I follow. So we have done with all the quality bundles, insertion, maintenance, drainage bag, emptying of the bag, sample collection, all these things. So in nutshell, just I will summarize these things so to prevent the urinary tract infection or colonization. First, gastrointestinal urethral meatus and urethra. Second, between junction of the catheter and drainage tube. And third, at the collection bag level. So at the urethra level, use non-aseptic technique, use bladder ultrasound, insert the catheter whenever bladder is full, preferably, and before catheterization, use your saline and antiseptic solution to clean the meatus, use 2% lubricant, use all sterile urinary catheter. All we have discussed. Then keep peripheral area clean and dry. Don't use routinely antiseptic solution or ointment for catheter maintenance. Secure catheter properly, and this is important, which we have not discussed. After patient has passed the stool, clean the perineum as soon as possible to prevent those E. coli and other bugs and anaerobes to the migrate to the urethra or local part, and then ascending infection to prevent that. Maintain the catheter and tubing free of kinks. and junction between catheter and drainage tube. So there might be breakage in the closed drainage. It should be avoided, and if not, it is there, then change the breakage part. So either tubing or bags, change. And uh, urine sample collection, it should not be collected from urine, it should be collected from urine collection point. And at the bottom of collection bed, ensure the position of the bed and don't keep it upside down and treat regularly. And separate disinfection jug for each patient. That all things we have discussed. So this is, and ultimately before and after doing all this thing, your hand washing should be there as per recommended steps of hand washing. So we have discussed with practical aspects and all 40 bundles and summarize them. But after doing all this, we should be knowing that whether we how we can measure our 40 compliance, 40 bundle compliance. So whether there are two main indicators, 40 rate and catheter utilization rate. So 40 rate and catheter utilization rate would let us know that before applying catheter, this 40 bundle, and after applying bundle, what difference we have made in our institute. So 40 rate can be calculated by two methods. One is NHSM method, one is population based 40 rate. So population based 40 rate is more sensitive, more appropriate because it takes patient days in account rather than catheter days. Because any intervention, like we know that we are checking all these things to decrease the 40. So obviously we will decrease the catheter insertion and decrease the catheter days. So we may not know actually whether decreased 40 rate is due to decreased use of catheter or more complex to the other bundle as well. So because patient days would remain static, so population 40 rate would be more appropriate. So 40 rate with NHSN calculation is total number of 40 episode within specific period of time divided by total number of catheter days within specific time, which is multiplied by 10. And 40 rate by population method is dividing total number of 40 episode in specific period of time by total number of patient days within specific time, then multiplied by 10,000. So this rate would give us 40 rate. But how can we actually know that our catheter utilization uh, uh, rate is decreased due to decreased number of patient or due to more adherence to our 40 bundle compliance? So another indicator is catheter utilization rate. That is dividing the total number of catheter days in given time period divided by total number of patient days in specific time period, and is reflected as percentage. So because many COT intervention, our main target is decreasing number of catheter days. So this measure assess if reduction in catheter days is result of decreasing in utilization or decreasing in patient volume. So if catheter days are reduced, we can actually know with this utilization rate. If ratio is decreasing, then definitely it is due to decrease in catheter days, or if ratio remain constant, then it may be due to actually decreasing number of patient, not due to decreasing number of uses. So all this we have done brief discussion, and it was not possible for me to demonstrate all these things. So I hope I have justified my skill station with all this pictorial and step-by-step representation. If any queries or any question, anyone can contact me in below mentioned mail address and phone number. So I would like to thank you to Yes Zaveri sir and his Hospital Infection Control Society of India to give me opportunity to take my demonstration lecture on 40. And, I would like to conclude my session with this. Thank you.